Hello everyone, Mary Rose here from Stitch Bliss Corner. I hope you're finding plenty to stitch on during this month of mania. Well, Scout is now back home. He's the piece that I've been working on for around a year, and I did in my previous video I spoke about him, and many of you watched me take the last stitch in Scout, and I just was so taken aback and touched by the wonderful comments that many of you have left. They meant a lot to me, so thank you so much for that. And before I show him to you, I would like to pay tribute to the artist who painted the Scout in the first place, Charles Marion Russell. Now, I did do some short video about him in the past. It was video number 16, and it was entitled A Man with a Brush and a Man with a Bat. That's B-A-T-T-E, because I did all about Charles M. Russell, and then I did a bit about the history of Harlequins in the same video. So if you're interested in any more about Charles M. Russell, that's somewhere that you can have a quick look anyway. Now, he is described as an artist of the old American West. He was born on March the 19th, 1864, and he died in October 1926. He grew up in Missouri and had an enduring interest in the Wild West. He spent hours reading about it. He learned to ride on a famous Civil War horse called Great Britain. At the age of 16, he left school and went to work on a sheep ranch in Montana, and he worked as a cowboy for long periods. He painted and sketched subjects. In 1888, he spent a period living with the Blood Indians and built up an intimate knowledge of the Native American culture. That's according to Wikipedia there. Now, I'll just show you a picture of Charles M. Russell. There he is. It's quite a bit of reflection. I'm doing this in the afternoon. I usually video in the mornings, but things happened today. And there's a few more things, not many things to go. Well, that's something I'm going to show you later. And then there's a little bit of information about this particular picture that I've done. Russell did not often paint the Pawnees, but when he did, he made them easily identifiable by the distinctive roach hairstyle favoured by their men in the buffalo hunting days. Pawnee warriors often spent hours painting their horses, braiding their tails, fastening coloured feathers in their manes, and painting their own faces in preparation for battle. Russell's fine study of the solitary warrior, mounted and poised for action, shows the artist at the top of his form. Well, who can disagree with that? Now, I'll just show you now the picture. It won't fit fully in the frame. I'm just going to show you, and then I'm going to go to a small video that shows close-up. But I just thought I'd try to show you live, so to speak, and then I will go to the some short video, and then I'll be back again after that. So just hang on a tick. there he is. And I shall tell you about that mat in a moment, the brown mat. And that's the frame there. But as you can see, it's well nigh impossible to show you properly. So that's why I'm going to that little short video. So I'll just pop him over here. Got my silver feathers on today in his honour. Now, when I took him down to the framers, if you remember, the part with the full stitches, the foreground was straight, but then it went a little bit off in a diagonal from the half stitches that I did. And the framer said, oh, you know, what I expected him to say, which is, don't worry about it, which is excellent. And when I got the call that he was ready, I thought, oh no, don't tell me he's found a problem, you know, because it was only a few days later. You know, I was very, very lucky. And he said that it was ready. So, you know, I was round there pretty quickly, I can tell you. Anyway, but when I first went in and took the piece of stitching, the framer said to me, what colour frame are you thinking of? And I said, well, I was thinking grey, because I had had a look at Charles M. Russell's paintings, and quite a lot of them have been framed with the grey, and I wanted to be fairly traditional, you know. Anyway, so my framer is very subtle. So he went, you know how they have those racks with all the mats on there, all the samples. So he got out cream and sort of a lighter beige, and he did put one grey in there, and then he slowly sort of moved it down darker and darker till he got to the browns, and he put the brown. And I said, that's the colour. It just brought everything out, you know, it just almost went 3D when he put the brown around it, and I was stunned. I was so happy, because the lighter mats made it look quite washed out. It was amazing how that brown gave dignity and drama to the piece. And anyway, so that's what we decided on, and I'm very happy that he's back here with me. Now, I will now go to the short video so that you can see in more detail, and then when I come back, I will then just go through the stitching side, just a few details there, and then I'm going to give the final word to Charles M. Russell, just a letter that he wrote, which I found to be quite touching. So off to the video now. Hello everyone. Apologies in advance if I repeat myself. I've just decided to do this separate video that Carla will splice into my video to show you better Scout, because he is pretty big, and I think when I hold him in front of the video for you all to see, it's going to be very difficult. I don't even know if I'll be able to fit him in. So I thought, well, I'll show you what he looks like this way, and then if you can't see him properly when I hold him up, you can just have a look at this. I really don't know what to say. um, the framer, well, he's a genius, but apart from that, I'll tell you the story of how he chose my mat for me. I was going to go for a different colour, and that I'll tell you that when I'm talking to you face to face. But suffice it to say that I think he picked the perfect mat for this piece. My framer does not, as a professional, say anything about the pieces that he frames, but he himself said that this piece had an effect upon him, and it has right from the first time I saw him. I can't really explain it, and I would put it forward the argument that even the best reproduction of an image, I don't think stitching aces it out by a mile as far as I'm concerned. The stitching it's one of the ultimate forms of art, because the thread goes through your fingers, your saliva's in there, so much of you is in anything that you stitch. And so to me, this piece means so much to me. I get a bit emotional, actually. Honestly. Anyway, I'm going to go in for a close-up now, so that you can see, warts and all, what he looks like. So I'm just going forward now, and I'm starting in the top corner here, and I'm just going to work across. I hope it's not too juddery for you. And then I'll just go down and work across. Just dwell on him for a moment. Going across. Now, all the background, as you know, is in half stitch. Anyone who's followed my journey anyway. And then when I got to the purple, from the purple on is half stitch, and then it's full stitches for him and the horse, of course, and the foreground. That's the famous Charles M. Russell signature. I'll come back and show you that a bit closer in a minute. And then the Charles M. Russell, hang on a sec, I'm trying to get that, yes, there. The Charles, there, that's the C, and then just inside the C is the M. So Charles M, and then there's the Russell, and there's his famous cow head that he used on his signature in 1907. Okay, so I'm just come back here. Now the size, the height of the piece, I spared Harlequin having to go into details because he's a bit snowed under with other things at the moment, so I'll do my approximates. That reflection down at the bottom that you see, until I just try and, that reflection there is just from my scarf that I've got in front of him. He's sitting on a chair, so that's why that's just reflection there. So he's 24.5 inches or 61.5 centimetres high, and he's just over 17 inches wide, which is around 44 centimetres. So that's Scout, and I shall talk to you shortly. Back again? Very good. Okay, so I am now going to go to the stitching side of things. Now where's my piece of paper here? Now I began Scout on the 16th of February 2017 and I finished him on the 22nd of April 2018. He has worked on 18 count Ada, and I fully gridded before I started, and I think that's one of the reasons why he was done in quite a timely fashion, because there was no counting required apart from each little box. And if you did go a bit wayward, you found out pretty quickly. I used DMC threads and the hoop and cushion method. The hoop and cushion method is beanbag cushion, that sits on my lap. Hoop sits on the beanbag cushion, and I can use two hands if I want to. I can use one hand for my stitching. That for me is more than enough surface and support for me to have one hand underneath. In fact, it's better in a way because I've got something there that I can rest my hand on than just it sitting in air under a frame. I can just sit it there. So I use that hoop, and then I don't know where my smaller hoop is, but at the top where it was getting a bit close to the border, I used a smaller hoop, just a little one, just to go and do those last stitches across the top. So what else have I got here? Oh yes, now he was near, oh here's my little hoop, was hiding. That's the little one that I used for across the top. So never let it be said that you need huge racks and bits and bobs, huge frames and stands, and I wouldn't know a Lowry stand if I fell over it, put it that way. I'm not saying, I think, you know, maybe for something massive you'd need something, well, I don't know, I don't even know what I would think would warrant going to stitching something absolutely huge. I mean, he's the biggest I would go to, and I had no idea really before I got him just how big he was going to be. I mean, I did have a bit of an idea, but for me that's huge. You know, and I can't see myself, I mean, there is that there are a few that I'm thinking of doing that might, one of them might be slightly bigger than that, but I sort of know what I'm in for now. And I know that if I want to do any piece, a hoop is more than sufficient for my needs anyway. Maybe people worry about, you know, crushing stitches and all that sort of thing, but I've never been concerned about that. I mean, for me it's always the subject matter and the fact that I'm doing it, you know. I mean, it's especially lately when I'm really stitching now more for things that I like and that my husband likes, you know. Now then, oh yes, I'll just show you how I arranged the threads. What I did was each symbol, there's just one here, I numbered them from 1 up to 10, just to make it, and then each section of symbols, I would go, each card would correlate with the number that I had on my list of threads and symbols. So I would have, say, how many is on this one? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I would have 12 on here, and I would have that marked for that. Say it was the first 12. There would be 12 on here, and I would mark that as number 1, and my card would be number 1. Then I'd go down to the next section of 12 threads, and that card would be number 2, and I would mark that as number 2. And it was just a lot easier to keep track of all the symbols. You just go to, if you saw your symbol there, you'd say, oh well, that's on card number 7, so you could go straight to your card number 7, because all of these are blended threads, and that was 10 cards worth of blended threads, and I had one card that was just ordinary threads. So I think blended threads are, well, they seem to give some kind of depth and quality that maybe the unblended can't go there. They can't quite get there for that kind of depth and variation in the colour of the stitches and everything. It seems to give a density to it. And so I think if you're looking at something and you think, oh, you know, look at all those blended threads, I don't really like doing blended threads. But I think if you prepare a card and you put all your blended threads and they're ready to go, it's not quite as daunting then, because you're not going to one bobbin and taking so much off one bobbin and then taking so much off another. It's much better to have, these are my secondary cards. My other cards were just like this, but they had the individual colours, and they were numbered as well, so I knew which card to go to for particular colours. And so they were all ready and cut in the right lengths. So if I had a card, I've taken them down now because I've you know, put them all back into my bobbins. But I would have a card, and I have a little hole punch, this, that just punches holes like that. So I make my primary card, and I put all my bobbin colours into those holes, and they're all cut to pre-length size, so they all match up. So for my blended threads, if I had a red to go with a white, just to be, you know, outrageous, because I don't know that you'd have white and red together, but you never know. If I put those together, I could just pull out a red strand, pull out a white strand. They're both the same length, and there's my blended thread very easily. Then I would use it and then return it to the symbol and be ready to go for if I had any left over. And that's the way I did it. And it seemed to work very well for me. So anyway, that's the arrangement of the threads. In all, there were 883 stitches, but of course the background was all half stitch, so it wasn't full crosses in that area. Is there anything else? No, I don't think so. I think that's just about it for that. And then I thought I would just finish on Mr. Russell, and he just sounds like, I don't know, just one of those unforgettable characters, put it that way. Now here's a picture. He used to send letters, and he used to do a picture with the letter, and there's one there, and that's a portrait of him. And the letter I have here, and he says he's written to a friend. Friend Ed, the above sketch shows me and my old hoss, H-O-S-S. We are both has-beens, though. There was a day when this pony somehow, and I don't know if it's I'm not quite sure. There's something in between there, so it's sort of when this pony some hoss. But time has played hell with both of us. I don't doubt he tells his friends what a whirlwind he was. And Ed, I'm not the kid you knew and rode with 20 years ago on the Bearpaw Range. I never was a life, but today I'm plumb harmless. But Ed, cow business is almost history now, and there is no need for men like us. You punch cows in a show, and I ride on canvas. Your old compadre, C.M. Russell, 1910, Russ, and his signature. And I'll just see if I can show you that signature. Just down there. 1910. Poignancy. I think that's the word for it. Poignant. And I feel poignant when I look at that picture. There's a poignancy there. Of times gone by. Of a world that's gone. And well, time rolls on, but they say time rolls on, but deep down people don't change. Maybe they don't, I don't know. Yes, I think the poignancy is there, and I think that I will be very happy to have the Scout in my home, and I am very grateful to everyone for coming with me along on this journey. It's been quite a journey. Now I will turn to other things. Now I'll probably make another video within the next week. I don't know, it might be tomorrow and it might be next week, who knows, for a special reason. And then I'm planning to, in June, to come back with quite a few different things, and with a decision on what big piece I'm going to do next. I have started on the little beach babies because it's just such a sweet little piece, and I think I can do that fairly quickly. So I will update you on everything. So until next time, all the best to you for Stitch Mania, those who are entering into that realm. While others stand back and gaze in awe at you. And for those who aren't but are watching, I wish you well, and happy stitching to you all. Until next time. Bye for now.